All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Nicole, and welcome back to our English class. For today's session, we are going to talk about business. We're going to have a business English session. So it's really glad to have you all here. So, as I've mentioned, and as you can see on the screen, we are going to have a business English class. So, business English, what it's all about? Well, it's basically about getting comfortable and confident using English in the world of work. Think about all the times you might need English on the job, like writing emails, for example, writing emails that sound professional, or speaking up in meetings, understanding any business conversations, or even just chatting with colleagues from, maybe different places or different countries. So that's where business English comes in. It's not some completely different language, but it does have its own way of doing things. We will look at useful words for today, those words or terms that you hear a lot in business, like how to communicate clearly and effectively in different situations, specifically for situations inside the business world, and even touch on how business communication can vary around the world. Why bother with it? Right? Why do we learn this, of course? Well, if you're working internationally or hope to, good business English skills can really open doors. It helps you connect better with people, get your ideas across more smoothly, and just feel more at ease in professional settings. So, whether you're already working in an international environment or just want to be better prepared, this is for you. Okay, so I'm looking forward to exploring this with you. So, um, how about you? What are some things you're hoping to get out of our business English sessions? You can type it in the chat, and I will try to elaborate these points on why do we learn business English. Starting with global communication, of course, think about how many businesses operate across borders now. Right? Whether you're dealing with clients in different countries, collaborating with international teams, or even just reading, you know, industry no industry news industry news from around the world. English often serves as the common language, right? It's our lingua franca, which means it's the language for everybody. It's the it's what we consider as universal language. So strong business English skills make these interactions smoother and more effective. There's also career advancement in many industries, especially those with an international reach. Proficiency in business English is a significant asset because it can open doors to more job opportunities, right? Especially, it can potentially lead you to promotions and make you a more competitive candidate in a global job market. All right. Next is efficient collaboration. We also learn this because when everyone on a team can communicate clearly and professionally in English, projects tend to run more smoothly. There's efficient collaboration because misunderstandings are reduced, ideas can be shared more effectively, and overall teamwork is enhanced. So, this is crucial in today's collaborative work and environments where, there is often involved people from diverse linguistic backgrounds. Fourth is global market access. For businesses looking to expand internationally, having employees was um, having employees was an option, especially those employees with strong business English skills, which are very crucial or essential for them. It allows them to understand international markets, communicate effectively with potential partners and customers, and also navigate the complexities of global trade. And lastly, of course, for professional growth. Learning business English isn't just about vocabulary and grammar, it's also about developing your overall professional communication skills. And this includes things like writing clear and concise emails, basic tasks, professional tasks, participating confidently in meetings, presenting your ideas effectively. all of which contribute to your growth as a professional. So, in a nutshell, all in all, learning business English, it equips you with essential tools to thrive in an increasingly interconnected and globalized professional setting or professional landscape. So it's an investment in the future, and a way to enhance your ability to succeed in the um world of business, right? Okay, so much for that. Let's immediately go over with the first set of business English vocabulary, starting with corporate. Again, corporate. No, corporate. One more time, corporate. So, corporate is related to a company or a group of companies. Now, this describes things connected to a large organization or business. So, you might hear about corporate culture, corporate strategy, or corporate social responsibility. It generally refers to the structure and activities of a company as a whole. That's corporate. Pronunciation wise, the main stress is in the first syllable, core. This one. That's our main stress. That's our syllables. That's the stressed syllable. So corporate. Okay? Corporate. In the IP transcription, this is the one. That one is the stressed syllable. So you should say the first syllable, no, the core part with more emphasis and of course slightly longer because it is stressed, it is emphasized, it is the focus. So it should sound clearer than the other syllables. So it should be corporate. Again, corporate. Now, the first, let's go over with, maybe we can talk about the pronunciation per syllable. I think that would be better. Let's start with the first syllable, which is the stressed one, right? It's core. Now, this sound is similar to the or in fork or morning, right? It's a longer vowel sound, so be careful not to make it sound like the R in car, like corporate. Okay, maybe that would be some common mistakes when saying this word. It should be or, not R. Okay, corporate. All right. Now, this one, the one I highlighted with an upside down E, that is a schwa sound. The upside down E, it represents a schwa sound, which it is often described as a very relaxed sound, right? It's quick and it's unstressed. So that's how you say this vowel with its corresponding consonant sound, which is the letter P sound. So corporate. It's fast. It's quick. Corporate. Corporate. All right. Lastly is red. Same as the second one. There's a schwa sound there. So it sounds like rat with a short u sound, as in cut. Again, cut. And a clear T sound at the end, as much as possible. So corporate, rat, rat. So it's not rat, but it's also not rut. Okay, it's in between because it's a schwa sound. It's a relaxed sound. It's quick. It's unstressed. So it should be just in between o and Okay, it's rut, rut. It should also not be rit, but rut. It's fast. Remember that. So we say it as corporate. Cor is the stressed syllable. Corporate. So corporate. So here you should pay attention to the difference between or in the first syllable and the in the second, and as well as the third sound, the schwa sounds, right? Pay attention to that. Corporate. Corporate. But yeah, I emphasize the difference between the or sound in the first as well as in the second because it both uses letter O, right? In the spelling, corpo. So there's a difference between the two. That's why I highlighted those ones. So again, this word is corporate. Again, corporate. If you're following with me, maybe you can type the word on our chatbot. There we have a chatbot that you can always, manipulate. You can always utilize for our small interactions. And I'd like you to type in the first word of our first word of the day, which is corporate. Again, corporate. All right. Next, we have strategy. Again, strategy. Now, this is a plan to reach a goal. So, a plan or action designed to achieve a long term or overall aim. In a business context, a strategy outlines how a company intends to reach its goals. This could be marketing strategy to, increase sales. It could also be a business strategy for overall growth or maybe a financial strategy to manage more effectively. So that is strategy. Again, strategy. Pronunciation wise, the primary stress is on the first syllable strat. This one, the one in the AP transcription, that is our, what is it again? That is our primary stress. So strategy. Okay, strategy. All right, one more time, strategy. Okay, there's three distinct sounds here. First is the stressed syllable, strat. So this is a blend of three sounds, right? So make sure to pronounce each one clearly but quickly. That's how we can really hear the sounds of consonant clusters, especially if we're talking about three consonants that are clustered in one particular sound. Now again, what are the consonant clusters here? We have STR, the sounds of those letters. Let's try to separately identify the sounds and then combine the sounds these particular consonants produce when combined. So starting with letter S, it's a hissing sound. We know it should sound like S. That's the letter S sound. Next is T sound. So it is pronounced as well as T, T, T. Okay. And lastly, there's an R sound, letter R sound, and it is pronounced as R, R, R. If you want to really clearly hear it, R, you R, something like that. But usually it's just, R. Your tongue is a little bit curled up all the way back to your tongue. All the way back. So it's a little bit curled up. I think you're already familiar with how it is pronounced, right? I've mentioned it many times already. On one of my previous sessions, I've also provided a picture on how you can really form your tongue in it so that you can produce this particular sound. All right. Okay. That is for the consonant clusters. St, r. So if we try to combine these slowly first, we're just trying to combine the three distinct sounds of these consonants, we will get st, r, st, r. So to make it sound more natural, of course, we try to say it more quickly. Str, 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 str. Okay, something like that. Str, 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 str. Okay, str, str. It's not as separated as you hear it, right? So it's combined, and when it's combined and it sounds more natural, it's blended properly. That's where we can say it is properly clustered. The consonants are properly clustered because the sounds of these particular consonants are properly combined and blended. So, str, str, str. The first syllable again of this word is strat. Again, strat. One more time. Strat. Okay. Next is e. It's a schwa sound. Again, a schwa sound is a relaxed a sound. It's in between o, u, and a. All those word sounds. It's in between those two, o and a. So strategy. It's closer to e, or yeah, it's closer to e actually. So strat e, and last is G. Okay, G. So it sounds like the letter J, right? J in job, for example. So here it is not that much relaxed because um of the letter J sound here, it is followed by a short A sound. So instead of saying J, you say it as G. G. It sounds like the word GEE. G. That's it. Or the G in engine. That's how it should sound like. So strategy. Again, strategy. All right? Strategy. Okay. So that is the second word, strategy. Let's try to separately say these three distinct sounds. Strat, there's a consonant cluster there, remember? E, a schwa sound. And lastly, G. G. Okay, the initial consonant cluster can be really tricky here, but you should practice saying it slowly at first. Also, the final E sound is a short vowel sound. Okay, all right. Next is revenue. Revenue. This is the money earned by a business, so it's the total amount of money a company earns from its sales or goods or services. It is I think if you're familiar with it, it is often referred to as the top line and represents the total income before any expenses are deducted, right? It so understanding a company's revenue is crucial for assessing its sales, performance, and overall financial health. So you should be familiar with this word, revenue. Again, revenue. When it comes to pronunciation, the stress here is still on the first syllable, rev. Rev. That's the stressed syllable. So we take it as that. Now, if I try to separate the three distinct sounds here, let's start with the stressed syllable. Very easy. Rev. It sounds like rev as in engine revving. So it sounds like revving. Actually the first word that comes to mind was river, but river has a short e sound compared to revenue. It's a bit more relaxed, so it's closer to revving. Okay, there's a short s sound as in bed. It river has a short e sound like the letter I sound, but yeah, here it's a short s sound, letter s sound. Okay, and of course it's very clear that there's a v sound right at the at the end, rev. And then next is a schwa sound e. It's a schwa sound, it's a relaxed and then lastly it ends with new. This sounds like the word new, basically new. It sounds like that. So be careful to pronounce the initial sound, which is the letter n, which is clearly followed by u. You here, you should be you should be able to pronounce it clearly. So new, the last sound is basically just new, new. Well, the ending here can sometimes be mispronounced, so think of the word new to help. That's a tip that I can give. Okay, so again, this word is revenue. Revenue. Three distinct sounds are revenue, revenue, revenue. Well, the schwa sound here, it's not that really relaxed yet. It's clearly pronounced, but when you try to say the word, of course, It's much faster, it's much quicker. So it you can really say it's a schwa sound. Revenue. Revenue. Again, revenue. Fourth, stakeholder. Again, stakeholder. So it is a person or group interested in the company. So it is one who is concerned in a company or organization. Stakeholders, it can include employees like you, customers, shareholders, which can also be owners, right? There's also suppliers, the local community, for example, and even the government. Now, understanding the needs and interests of various stakeholders is really important for a company's success and reputation. Okay. Pronunciation wise, stakeholder. There's three distinct sounds, starting with steak, which is our primary stress, still on the first syllable, steak. This sounds exactly like the word steak. Like, are you familiar with it? That's steak. The one we consider as a cut of meat, steak. So it sounds like that. There's a diphthong sound here. Now, diphthong again is a vowel plus vowel sound. When one vowel sound smoothly glides to another vowel sound, we will get a diphthong, the one I highlighted earlier. That's a diphthong. It's a combination of two vowel sounds that glide together. So there is a diphthong on the first syllable, steak. Next is whole. Whole. Very easy. It sounds exactly like the word HOLE. Whole. Right? An opening. There's also, I think, yeah. There's also a diphthong sound here. There's one. That's a diphthong. Oh, that's a diphthong. Okay. And then lastly is der. Der. This sounds like um. This sounds like elder, something like that. The der in the last, the der in elder. There's a short sound, which is a schwa sound, and then followed by an R sound, letter R sound. Okay. So one tip I can give you is that you remember that this is a compound word. So pronounce both parts really clearly. The K in steak is silent when followed by a consonant at the beginning of a word. But here it's part of the vowel sound. So let's try to say it as clear as we can. Okay? All right. So this is stakeholder. One more time. Stakeholder. Again, stakeholder. All right. Lastly, we have profit. Profit. This is the money left after paying expenses. So it's the money that a business makes after deducting all its expenses from its revenue. Well, profit is often referred to as the bottom line and is a key indicator of a company's financial performance and success. Businesses aim to generate profit to ensure their sustainability and growth, of course. Profit. Pronunciation wise, we have the stressed part is still on the first syllable. So all the words on this set, the primary stress is on the first syllable, just like in profit. So the main stress is on prof. Prof, there's two distinct sounds only, prof and it. So prof is the primary stressed. Prof. Prof. Professional. Okay? Profit. Profit. So that is profit. So prof, it sounds like the first syllable also in professional, right? Or professor. It has a short O sound as in hot or dog. So you should be careful not to make it too long. Okay? Not make it a long O sound. All right? Okay. And then last sound is it. Well, that sounds so exactly like the it in fit. There's a short E sound as in bit and a clear T at the end. So it. So it is profit. The vowel sound in the first syllable is key. It's a short open O sound. Profit. Profit. if I try to separate the words, or I mean the distinct sounds. But we always strive to sound more natural. Of course, we do not say profit. What's the profit of our company? Of course, you do not say that. We say profit. Okay? Profit. All right. So for the first set, we've talked about corporate, strategy, revenue, stakeholder, and print. And it's time to practice already. Let's have a practice drill. For the practice drill, of course, very easy. I have given sample sentences with the word used or utilized in the sentence, and I just want you to read the sentence with me so as to practice your pronunciation skills for the particular words or terms that we've talked and discussed that is related to business English. So let's try to practice how to say it, especially if there's a sentence, so that it sounds more natural for you when you actually use the word in real life, especially in a business context. Are we clear on that? Okay, let's start right away with corporate. She works in the corporate office of a large tech company. She works in the corporate office of a large tech company. Strategy. Their marketing s- in their marketing strategy helped increase sales this quarter. Their marketing strategy helped increase sales this quarter. Next, revenue. The company's annual revenue exceeded expectations. The company's annual revenue exceeded expectations. All stakeholders, I mean, stakeholder, all stakeholders were invited to the annual meeting. All stakeholders were invited to the annual meeting. I'm sorry, excuse me for that. And lastly, profit. After expenses, the small business made a healthy profit. All right. After expenses, the small business made a healthy profit. Okay. Very good, everyone. Thank you for your active participation. For a moment, I'm just going to check my slide because it is not moving for a while. I think everything's good. Let me check. Oh no. All right. It's working. All right. On our slide, this is the second set of words. Let's immediately go over it. This is the second set of words. First is deadline. Again, deadline. It's the latest time something must be finished. So that's deadline. In a business setting, a deadline is a specific date or time by which a task, a project, or a report needs to be completed. So, meeting deadlines is crucial for efficient workflow and project management. You cannot miss a deadline because missing a deadline can have negative consequences for a team or the overall business at all. Okay? So that's deadline. Pronunciation wise, it's still on the first syllable, the one we are going to stressed in the word. So deadline. Okay? Deadline. Now, dead is, it sounds like the word dead, like DEAD. It sounds like that. There's a short S sound, as in the bed or in red, something like that. There's a clear D sound in the letter D sound in at the end of the first syllable. So dead. Dead. You're just gonna say dead. DEAD. If you're familiar with how it is pronounced, that is how you also pronounced for the first word. I mean first syllable for this word. And lastly, line. Very easy. Line here, there's a diphthong sound. Again, diphthong is vowel plus vowel. That's a diphthong sound here. So we do that. There's a combination of two vowel sounds that glide together. So line. It sounds exactly like the word line, of course. That's how it is spelled like. So it should be pronounced as like that also. Well, one tip I can give is that you ensure you pronounce the letter D at the end of the first syllable clearly before moving to the second. Okay, deadline. Again, deadline. Next is teamwork. Again, teamwork. It's basically very simple meaning. It's working well together. So that's teamwork. Now, teamwork in a business setting, it refers to the collaborative effort of a group of people to achieve a common goal. That's teamwork. Effective teamwork, it involves communication, cooperation, and mutual support among team members. It is often essential for successful project completion and a positive work environment overall. Okay, so pronunciation wise, stress is still in the first syllable. Teamwork. Again, teamwork. So on the first syllable, there's a long e sound here. Team. So that's how we say it. And then the last syllable is work. This sounds like the word work, of course, because it is how it's spelled like. Most likely it will also sound the same, and it does. So, or it sounds similar to the in bird or R in turn, something like that. Teamwork. Teamwork. So make sure to pronounce the long vowel sound in the first syllable clearly. Teamwork. Okay? One more time. Teamwork. All right. Next is productivity. This is how much work is done in a given time. So basically, this just measures the efficiency of a work. It refers to the rate at which goods or services are produced, which is often in relation to the time, effort, and resources involved. So increasing productivity is a common goal for businesses to improve output and profitability. That's productivity. Pronunciation wise, there's productivity. I think five distinct sounds here, starting with pro, which is our primary stress. Pro. No. Yeah. Yeah, you stress also on that productivity. But also, we stress on the third syllable, duck. So, productivity. Okay? Productivity. All right. Very good. Now, we've already talked about pro. Pro is basically just, sounds like professional or professor. Duck, there's a short sound there, like in cut. Tiv. It sounds like tiv inactive. So there's a short E sound. And there's a schwa sound. It's a relaxed right? And then lastly is T. There's a short E sound there. Productivity. So this word has multiple syllables and two levels of stress because I've mentioned about pro and duck both having equal stress. So pay attention to the stronger stress on the third syllable. Okay. It might be equal, but there's also, if I try to think about it, there's times that the duck sound, the third syllable is a bit much emphasized here. Productivity. Again, productivity. Fourth, merger. There's two companies joining as one. That's merger. A merger is the combination of two or more companies into a single larger entity. Mergers can occur for various reasons, such as to expand market share, gain new technologies, or even achieve, cost savings. Of course, we try to really have the money as much as possible, and as much as possible we don't upfront give as much money as we can to particular tasks. Okay, we should give it to the proper people. So the process here, it often involves significant negotiation and integration. Of course, that's how you do it in merging a company. Pronunciation wise, the focus is on mer, right? On the first syllable. Mer, it sounds like merchant, or there are, so you pronounce clearly the letter R sound here. Merger. Jer is the same. There's a letter J sound here, like the J in job or Jerry. So that's it. Oh yeah, you can say it's Jerry. That's Jer. That the first syllable. That's how you say it. The last syllable of merger. Merger. Okay. Merger. So focus on making a consistent vowel sound followed by the R sound. Merger. Again, merger. And lastly, we have growth. Growth. Okay, growth. It's increase in size or business. Basically, in business context, it can refer to various aspects such as an increase in revenue, profits, market share, number of employees, or the overall expansion of the company's operations. Sustainable growth is often a key objective for businesses. The stress here, well, since there's only one syllable, growth is the primary stress, right? Growth. Growth. There's a diphthong sound actually here. This one, that one is a diphthong. It sounds like O. O. Okay? O in grow. So, um, in the IP transcription, look at it. This one, that's a representation of the soft TH sound. Okay? You made by placing the tip of your tongue lightly between your teeth and blowing the air out. That's growth. Okay? Growth. So for this set, we've talked about deadline, teamwork, productivity, merger, growth. And obviously, it's time to practice. Let's have a practice drill, same pattern, same process. Starting with deadline. The team must finish the project before the deadline. Next, teamwork. Good teamwork is essential for a successful project. Productivity. The new software improved employee productivity. Merger. The merger between the two banks created the stranger institution. And lastly, growth. The startup experience get paid growth in its first year. Growth. Okay? Growth. Make sure to articulate it clearly. Growth. All right? Growth. Okay. All right. That is the second set of words. Let's immediately go over the third set of words, still on business English vocabulary. First is innovation. Again, innovation. These are the new ideas or methods. Innovation, it refers to the creation and implementation of new ideas, new products, new processes, or new services that bring about significant improvement or change. So it's a key driver of growth and competitive advantage to business. Pronunciation wise, of course, you stress on the second syllable. She's a bit strong. Innovation. Innovation. So innovation. Innovation. Okay? Innovation. All right. Okay. One more time. Innovation. Innovation. Pay attention to the placement of the primary stress on the third syllable. Innovate. Ve is a primary stress. Innovation. Again, innovation. All right. Okay. Next is sustainability. It's using resources carefully for future use. So, basically, it refers to practices that meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That's sustainability. This often involves, environmental responsibility, social equity, and of course, economic validity. No, viability, I mean. So that's sustainability. Okay? Sustainability. The primary stress is on the first syllable. Sustainability. Sustainability. So there's a longer word with multiple syllables, and this is an example of which. What you can do really is focus on the primary stress on stain. So sustainability. Second syllable is the stressed part. Sustainability. And lastly, we have benchmark. I know this is still the last next one. I mean, there's benchmark. It's a standard for comparing performance. Basically, it is a point of reference or a standard against which something can be measured or compared. That's benchmark. Businesses often use benchmarks to evaluate their performance against competitors or industry best practices. Pronunciation wise, first syllable is the stressed part, benchmark. This sounds like the word benchmark. Okay. A tip is that you ensure you pronounce the ch sound clearly at the end of the first syllable and the long sound in the second. Okay, benchmark. Again, benchmark. All right. Fourth is synergy. Synergy. It's working together to achieve more than alone. Okay, that's synergy. Refers to the combined power of two or more things working together produces an effect greater than the sum of their individual effects, of course. In business, synergy is often sought through teamwork. So mergers or strategic partnerships perhaps. Okay. Now the primary stress here is on the first syllable sin. Sin. Okay. That's sin. Synergy. Well, you are no. I'm just gonna say it. The letter Y sound here. The end it sounds like the short E sound. So synergy. G. There's a short E sound there. Synergy. Okay. Um Lastly, finally, here we have outsourcing. Again, outsourcing. It's hiring external help for work. Um, Here in the business context, um, outsourcing is the business practice of containing or contracting out certain tasks, functions, or processes to external providers rather than performing them in house. So, this can be done to reduce, costs and then also improve efficiency or access specialized expertise. So, the pronunciation here, the stress is still on the first syllable. Out. So, outsourcing. Source. It's a diphthong followed by an R sound. Already a diphthong there. That one. So outsourcing, okay? Outsourcing. Be careful to pronounce the diphthong in the first syllable clearly. Outsourcing. Again, outsourcing. All right. For this set of words, we've talked about innovation, sustainability, benchmark, synergy, and outsourcing. Okay. All right. Of course, let's immediately move on to a practice drill. It's time to practice. Okay. Same pattern, same process, starting with innovation. Innovation drives success in the tech industry. Sustainability. The company adopted sustainability practices to reduce waste. Benchmark. We used last year's performance as a benchmark. Synergy. The synergy between departments led us to be a better not a son but better granddaughter of the old man. Okay. All right, let's immediately move on to the next set of words, starting with compliance. Again, compliance. One more time. For a moment, let me check my stream. For a moment. Okay. I think I was able to. I don't know if the live is still going, but yes. Okay. Is it still going? Okay. I think it's still going. But yeah, let's continue. Let's move on to the first one, compliance. It's following rules and laws. Now, in a business context, compliance refers to the act of adhering of laws, of regulations, standards, and internal policies of the company. You ensure that compliance is there because it's crucial for avoiding legal penalties and also maintaining ethical practices, as well as building trust with the stakeholders of the company. Pronunciation wise, the stress sound here is not on the first syllable anymore, but on the second syllable. Compliance and apply. That's the primary stress here. There's a diphthong sound, right? That one is a diphthong. So compliance. Now the first syllable, it sounds like come. It's very fast. There's a schwa sound there, right? Come, come. Compliance. Compliance. Now ply, there's a dip. Again, ply has a diphthong, so it sounds like fly, but instead of letter F sound, you use letter P sound. So ply. Okay? And then uns, uns. There's a schwa sound also there. Uns, uns, uns. Compliance, compliance. So the stress on the second syllable is important, and you make sure that the ply part is emphasized. Compliance. Next is fiscal. Again, fiscal. So it's related to money, especially taxes. The term fiscal pertains to government revenue, public debt, and taxation. You might hear about fiscal policy, fiscal year, or fiscal responsibility. It is often used in discussions about government budgets and economic management. So that's fiscal. Again, fiscal. All right. Pronunciation wise, there's two distinct sounds. The stress is on the first syllable, fis. So fiscal. Fiscal. It sounds like fish, but without the letter H sound. Fis. There's a short E sound here. So fis. And then call, there's a schwa sound in that one. So fiscal. Again, fiscal. Alright. Okay. The second syllable is unstressed and has a relaxed vowel sound because the primary stress here is on the first syllable, fis. So fiscal. Next is portfolio. Again, portfolio. It's a collection of work or investments. That's portfolio. It's basically, collection maybe of a company's products or services, set maybe of projects being managed, or individuals' collection of investments like stocks and bonds. That is portfolio. It represents a range of holdings or activities. Portfolio. All right. Now the stress is on the second syllable. For portfolio. Okay? Portfolio. All right. That's how we try to say it. So on the third syllable, there's a short portfolio. Yeah, the short E sound there, but yeah, when we try to say the whole word, it's almost not clearly pronounced as li. Okay, because it blends with the last sound or last syllable O. So Leo. Instead of Leo, portfolio, of course you say portfolio. We blend the last two syllables here, okay? To make it sound more natural. Portfolio. Again, portfolio, the second syllable is the stressed part. Portfolio. All right. Next is market share. There's two words. Market share. This is the part of sales a company has in the market. So it represents the percentage of total sales within a specific market that a particular company controls. It is a key indicator of a company's competitive position and success in its industry. So that's market share. All right. Pronunciation wise, the first part of the compound word, which is mar, that is the stressed part. Market share. So market share. Okay? Share. Share. All right. This is a compound noun with stress on the first part, right? So ensure you pronounce the long A sound in market. Market share. Again, market share. Lastly, we have leverage. Leverage. It's using resources to get a better result. Leverage. So it refers to using something to maximum advantage. That's leveraging. This could involve using debt to finance growth, financial leverage, or you can use a small effort to create big impact, operational leverage. We call that one as operational leverage. Or using data to gain insights, we call that as information leverage. Pronunciation wise, leverage, the first syllable is the stressed part, love, that's the stressed part, leverage. And then the second syllable, there's a schwa sound here. We already familiar with schwa sound. I've mentioned it many times already on this session. So the final syllable has a soft J sound. The first syllable is clearly stressed. Okay, so it's leverage. Leverage. For this set of words, we've talked about compliance, fiscal, portfolio, market share, and leverage. Let's move on immediately with it. Practice drill. It's time to practice. Same pattern, same process. First, compliance. The factory must ensure full compliance with safety laws. Fiscal, the government announced new fiscal policies. Portfolio, he presented a portfolio of his past design projects. Market share, the brand aims to increase its market share in Asia. Leverage, the last one, she used her experience to leverage better job offers. Let's immediately move on to the next set of words. Starting with diversification. Don't get overwhelmed because yeah, it might seem so long. Yes, it's long, but don't get intimidated or overwhelmed to this. Diversification, simple meaning is that it is adding different products or services. Diversification, it's a business strategy where a company expands its operation into new markets or introduces new products or services. So this can help reduce risk by not relying too heavily on a single product or market. Now there's diversification. There's six distinct sounds, among which the first and the fifth syllable is the stressed part. So diversification. Diversification. Okay? Diversification. All right. That's the first one. So the longer word with this is a longer word with multiple stresses. So diversification, the stress is on K. Diversification. Next is capital. Capital, it's the money or assets for a business. It's capital. It refers to the financial resources or assets that a business uses to operate and grow. That's capital. This can include cash, equipment, buildings, and intellectual property. So access to capital is essential for starting and expanding a business. That's capital. Okay? The first syllable cap is the stressed part. Capital. Again, capital. All right. Next is efficiency. Third one is efficiency, working in a simple and effective way. Now, efficiency refers to the ability to accomplish a task or produce something with the minimum amount of wasted effort, wasted time, or resources. So, improving efficiency is a key goal for business to reduce costs and maximize output. Pronunciation wise, the second syllable is stressed, the fish one, efficiency, right? So, that's a stressed sound, obviously. We do that. Efficiency. Okay. The C sound at the end, it sounds like the soft S sound. So there's a hissing sound there. Efficiency. One more time. Efficiency. Fourth, forecast. A prediction about the future. So a forecast is an estimate or prediction of future trends or performance, such as sales, revenue, or market conditions in a business setting. It helps businesses plan and make informed decisions. That is forecast. Again, forecast. It's a prediction about the future. Pronunciation wise, the four, it's the first syllable, right? It's the stressed one. Forecast. So, four. You ensure that you pronounce the longer vowel in the first syllable. Forecast. Next and last is inventory. Inventory. This is a list of items available for sale or use. Inventory. Inventory refers to the stock of goods or materials that a business holds for the purpose of sale or use in production. Managing inventory effectively is important to meet customer demands while minimizing storage costs. So that's inventory. The stress is on the first syllable, in, inventory, and there's a secondary stress on the third syllable, to, inventory. Inventory. Okay? This word has two levels of stress, in and to. Well, the first syllable has a stronger emphasis, inventory. Okay. Next. Anna. Yeah, this is the fourth, I think, fifth. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is another set of versus English vocabulary. We've talked about diversification, capital, efficiency, forecast, and inventory. Let's immediately have the practice drill. Starting with diversification, same pattern, same process. Diversification reduced their business risk. Capital, they raised capital through investors. Efficiency, the team improved efficiency with a new workflow. Forecast, the sales forecast shows strong demand next quarter. They updated the inventory before the holiday season. That's inventory. All right. Let's have I think it's the last one. Yeah, the last set of words. Let's have the first word, turnover. Again, turnover. It's the total sales or money coming in. It the total amount of revenue generated by a company from its sales or goods or services over a specific period of time. So it is a key indicator of a company's sales volume and overall business activity. That's turnover. The first syllable, turn. That's where we stressed these. This is where the stress of the word is. So turnover, over, turnover. All right. Ensure you pronounce the or sound clearly in the first syllable. Turn over. Turn over. Okay? One more time. Turn over. Next is liability. Liability, it's a legal responsibility for money owed. Basically, it's an obligation to pay money or provide services to another party in the future. Liabilities can include loans, accounts payable, and deferred revenue. Okay? All right. Okay. Continuing with liability, the pronunciation wise, the primary stress is on the lie, which is the first syllable. And then next is bill, third syllable. It's also stressed. Liability. Liability. You pay attention to the primary stress on the third syllable. So third syllable is our primary stress. That bill, that says our primary stress here. Liability. Liability. Next is dividend. A share of the profits paid to shareholders. So it's a distribution or of a portion of a company's earnings, which is decided by the board of directors. You pay to its shareholders. So dividends are a way for companies to reward investors for owning their stock. Dividend. Okay? Dividend. This is the main stress is on the div part. So yeah. This sounds like div. Okay? Div. All the vowel sounds in this word are short. So dividend. Next is acquisition. Acquisition, buying or taking control of another company. That's acquisition. It's the process by which one company purchases and takes control of another company. This can be done to expand market share, acquire new technologies, or eliminate competition. That is acquisition. Pronunciation wise, ac is a primary stress, while z is a third syllable. Their third stressed syllable. So acquisition. Again, acquisition. Acquisition. All right? Acquisition. Okay. The primary stress is on the third syllable. Acquisition. Okay. And lastly, the last word of the day is infrastructure. Infrastructure. It's the basic systems and services a business needs. That's infrastructure. Again, infrastructure. For a moment. That is infrastructure. It refers to the fundamental facilities and the systems serving a country, a city, or area, including transportation and communication systems. So that's infrastructure in general. But for business, it can also refer to the basic systems and facilities needed for its operation, such as IT networks and office buildings. That is how you say this word, infrastructure. The stress is on in and also struck. Infrastructure. Infrastructure. Okay? This word has two levels of stress. So the first syllable has a stronger emphasis in. So you do with that information. Infrastructure. Again, infrastructure, the basic systems and services a business needs. Let's immediately, I'm going to read the words for this set. So we've talked about turnover, liability, dividend, acquisition, and infrastructure. Let's go over to its practice drills. Same pattern, same process. Turnover. The store's turnover doubled during the promotion. Liability. The company accepted liability for the defective product. Dividend. Shareholders received a quarterly dividend. Acquisition. The acquisition helped expand their market presence. Infrastructure. Good infrastructure supports smooth operations. So that's it. Okay. All right. For today's session, we've talked about these business English vocabulary, these different terms. There's corporate strategy, revenue, stakeholder, profit, turnover, deadline, teamwork, productivity, merger, growth, liability, innovation, sustainability, benchmark, synergy, outsourcing, dividend, compliance, fiscal, portfolio, market share, leverage, acquisition, diversification, capital, efficiency, inventory, and infrastructure. Okay, very good. All right. Pronunciation wise, again, okay. Those are different business English vocabulary. I've included 30, but there is more from that. So we're trying to narrow it down later on our future sessions. Okay? All right. All right. Okay, everyone, we've reached the conclusion of our business English vocabulary lesson for today's session. I trust that the detailed explanations of the meanings and the breakdown of the pronunciations for each of these key terms has have been really, beneficial for your learning. So, remember again, I hope you found the meanings, the explanations, and detailed pronunciations helpful. And always remember that building your vocabulary is an ongoing process. So keep practicing these words and try to use them in your professional communication. So that's on business English. As I've mentioned on my previous session, I repeatedly say it that consistent practice is always the key, right? Okay, very good. All right. So, do you have any final questions before we wrap up today's session? I'm happy to answer them. Let me check the bot. Let me check the chat session. Maybe you've typed in your answers. Okay, I think there's none. All right. So, any questions, any lingering questions you have that we can answer? Okay, it's so, all right. Okay. Thank you for your active participation, everyone. I look forward to our next session together. Have a productive rest of your day. Good night.